different time I've never.
What's happening, everyone? Careful Magpie 24/7, and it's a video I've longed to make for a long time, over 2 years. Finally, it's like when The Rock came home. Finally, Newcastle United sack Steve Bruce. Thank fuck for that. I've honestly, like, the frustration of having him as a manager just went away this morning. Like, it just turned into relief that we don't have to put up with his old tired, lame press conferences anymore. We don't need to put up with the shite 90s training anymore, where the last 12 days of his tenure they trained 3 or 4 times. We don't have to put up with the same old excuses, the same tired, just the same shite identity, the same awful mobilisation of a football team. Steve Bruce is officially gone from Newcastle United, and I could not be fucking happier about it. Like, in my time as a Newcastle fan, I've never known a manager on a footballing level to be disliked so much. And for the vast majority of Newcastle fans, that's all that was. It was down to the results and the clear problems that were going on off the field as well. Fans turning on each other in support or not support of Steve Bruce. There was always a problem with Steve Bruce, and not only that either, there wasn't a problem with just Steve Bruce. It would be his son. It'd go to Newcastle fans after wins every week. It would be a Danny Murphy, a Tim Sherwood, a Gabby Agbonlahor saying he's a really nice man, he's a good manager, he's the man for the job, he's experienced, he's this and that, insulting the intelligence of Newcastle fans who are saying and stating facts. They're not just going off on a tyrant because they don't like Steve Bruce. They're stating facts of why he wasn't good enough, whether it be the abysmal 28% win record that he ended with at Newcastle, whether it would be the 7 wins in 38 games, the worst playing team in the Premier League. And we'll just get intelligence insulted every single week with, he's a good manager, he's a nice man, one of the great good guys in football is Steve Bruce. Oh, he'll turn it around, he's done it before, when clearly he hasn't. It would just be mates supporting mates within the English game, and it's finally came to a fucking end with Steve Bruce. Like, he's only been at the club for 2 years, and like, just the cloud of dissent, like, as bad as the Mike Ashley era was, he made the last couple of years fucking unbearable at times. Like, some of the defeats, like the one off Brighton last season, Sheffield United away. There's so many bad performances you can mention where you could literally say the same thing over and over again. The tactics were just not on point at all. The management was absolutely torrid. The excuses are just pathetic. Like, the amount of games, this bloke had 97 games in charge, and you could probably put 75 or 80 of them down as fucking misery. Like, I know we won some games, but you could see even after draws and stuff, we were damn lucky to pick up draws. We're really lucky to pick up a win here and there. Like, even when we won games, it would come with a side swipe at Newcastle fans for basically not being allowed to enjoy wins, whether it be his mates in the press like Luke Edwards or Gabby Agbonlahor. So it'd be kind of in your face Newcastle fans, because that's what Bruce is saying at the moment. He's been, from day one, he was never liked and stuff like that, and that's something he can play on. The simple fact is, a lot of Newcastle fans gave him a chance, despite him not being the choice of the fans. He got the benefit of the doubt, even though his track record, a lot of fans feared it would be more of the same of his track record, which is either keeping teams still or taking teams backwards. And Newcastle miraculously finished 12th last season. I don't know how. Like to this day, I do not know how. And like we've went backwards. We haven't won a game this season, but he's playing the victim card. And of course, if it's a personal level, then I completely understand. I've seen this myself, and I've condoned it myself. I don't like people being personally attacked on Twitter. I wouldn't like it to happen to me, so I don't condone it with anybody else. But as a football manager, Steve Bruce is probably the worst I've seen at Newcastle. I've seen Steve McLaren, I've seen Alan Pardew, I've seen John Carver, I've seen Joe Kinnear, I've seen Graham Souness, and for me, Steve Bruce is the worst. Not only is he the worst in football tactics and management, but the toxicity that the bloke caused, and I'm just so pleased to see the back of him. Like I really am. It's like it just feels like the one final cloud has been eradicated that was over this club. Like obviously the takeover on that last week, fantastic, but Steve Bruce was kind of hovering around like a bad smell, and it's cost the club £8 million to get rid of him, but they finally managed to pull the trigger and get rid of him. If Tottenham wasn't enough, the Tottenham game wasn't enough. Like look at so many examples. Like 94% of the Newcastle United supporters just wanted him out the door, and rightfully so. Like it's just like I can on like in my opinion. I don't know about you. You might have supported the club for however many years, but for me, Steve Bruce will go down as Newcastle's worst ever manager. And he can say he was one of one and all this, but all you did was goad fans after wins. You you never took the blame for any defeat. Even if you said it in the press, your actions afterwards would perceive otherwise. When you blame Sean Longstaff for Sheffield United, or when you've blamed several players after the Brighton defeat, many examples you could use. For me, it's just like I says at the top of the video, it's just such a relief. And like even though that we're 19th and we haven't won a game this season, the first 8 games and stuff, and we've conceded a goal in every game, and we've looked shite. There's even an element of hope still that we can turn this season around because Steve Bruce isn't here. Because even on big takeover day, the day he ruined, by the way, and still managed to make it about him. Even though it's not all about Steve Bruce, it was never about him, and leaving with his dignity, and all the journalists need slapped. Do they need slapped now, mate? Because you're off. Ta-ra, bye. Like I've seen it said from a couple of different people. Tomb Review being the main one that I watched earlier on. You can guarantee in a couple of months you'll be on a Monday Night Football. You'll be on a game covering Newcastle United, and he'll slate the Newcastle fans, and he'll slate the way the club was run. He'd be playing all the victim, and but my time then, I did well, and considering, and the fans never took the words and all this shit. You can guarantee that will be the way that Steve Bruce goes on, and you can just tell from his interview with Luke Edwards this morning, his best mate, by the way. You know, like fans never took to him. Honestly, it was a fear that they'd be right about you, like how you've managed every other club, like you managed Sunderland, like you managed Aston Villa, like you've managed any other club in your tenure as a manager. You've took them backwards, you've made it toxic, and then you've been shown the door with a massive pay packet. That's if you haven't left for another job and you've threw a team under the bus like you did Sheffield Wednesday to come to Newcastle. Like for me, it's just a relief that he's gone. But now that he is gone, who is going to take over? The talk is that Newcastle linked with three names: Eddie Howe, Favre, the one that Jim White went with. Weird face. Bruce Adult manager currently got them fourth. Thanks for asking, Jim. And the front runner is Paulo Francesca and Fonseca, sorry, and he's former Roma manager as of last season, and Mourinho took over from him. Now, Fonseca seems to be the front runner, so he's the one that I've looked at most research wise, and I've only heard of him this morning, and like I can honestly say, I've got more of a point out of what his style of football was than Steve Bruce. And he had 97 games at Newcastle, so that's a good sign. Thankfully, He plays a high pressing football. He has his team physically fit. He'll actually train the players. So like for me, he'll come in and he'll make a difference. He'll play on the front foot, and we'll look to win games by but by being fitter than the other teams, not just hoping for a pot of luck or a miracle out of someone off someone's arse or something like that. Like it'll be a manager coming in with a plan, and I think when he comes in, if he is the person that is chosen to take Newcastle United forward, then he'll obviously get the 100% backing of the board and the fans, and it'll be nice to see the fans 100% behind a manager and 100% behind the owners and 100% behind a vision. Do you know what I mean? A united front, as Amanda Staveley has put one United like outlook at Newcastle, and that seems to be what they're looking to get. And obviously, Steve Bruce didn't go under that. I'm surprised he didn't get sacked sooner. To be honest, I'm surprised he wasn't shown the door straight away. But in the massive game against Crystal Palace, which me and Paul will be talking about on the podcast, it's had a couple of delays. There's been a couple of issues down home for Paul, and a couple of things my way as well. I think we're just going to make it every Thursday, you know. Every Thursday we'll do the podcast every week, no matter what goes on. Do a weekly podcast, and then go from there. I think that's the way we're going to go about it now. So there's a bit of consistency. You know what time we're going to be on, and stuff like that, and then you can like prepare. So we're not saying it could be this day, could be this day. We're a bit more on the ball with things, you know. But aye, every Thursday podcast day. So I think we'll be doing it either tonight or tomorrow, but from then on in every Thursday. So the game's out the way, and we can talk about the game, and then you can get the podcast exactly the way you like it. And plus, we know there's other people out there as well, and other channels, so they get their podcasts out. So we're not mixing with anybody or letting ours out at the same time as theirs or anything like that. So we can yeah, so it just helps everything really. But yeah, love yous and leave yous for now, and thank fuck Steve Bruce is gone. See you later, everybody. Take care. Ta-ra.